This will be a taped interview. The date is 7/21/90. The time is 9:32 a.m. The location is Lynn County Sheriff's Office. The person being interviewed is John Arthur Ackroyd. Persons present: Detective Salisbury, Lynn County Sheriff's Office; John Cochran, Detective Severance, Lynn County Sheriff's Office. John, I talked to you earlier, and we mentioned to you that when we're in a police station that we need to advise you of your rights, which we done the other day, correct? And you're aware that this is being taped?
Yes.
Okay, I'll read your rights, and those rights are: you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can will be used against you in court of law. You have the right to talk to an attorney and have him present while you're being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any question if you wish. If you give a statement, you can stop talking anytime you wish. Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
Okay. I've got a prepared card, John, that I just read off of, and I need you to sign and date the card. Today is the 21st of July, 1990. And I'll turn the interview over to Mr. Cochran.
Yeah, John, I wanted to start by asking some questions now. One thing was that you were at home and then you left for a while and you came back and Jenny was gone, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And about what time was that when you came back?
Let's see, somewhere between 12:30 and 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Approximately.
12:30 to 1?
Yeah.
And when you came back, what did you notice?
Our door to the trailer was open,
Okay.
which is normal. I went in, seen that Jenny turned the TV off, and I went in the bedroom, and she, her nightgown was off on the floor. It was like which is normal. And I seen she wasn't in the house, so I went to go outside, see if she's outside, and I noticed my BB pellet gun was gone. So I thought she was just right out somewhere close, so I just locked and shut the door, and I went between the boat and my little shed we got up there, and called for her, but she didn't answer.
Okay. How did you happen to notice that the BB pellet gun was missing?
Well, it's right there by the door. We got a little pantry, and got about that much room between the pantry and the door.
Mm-hmm.
And that BB gun's been there since we moved in that trailer. It's very easy, something that's just always there. It's very noticeable if it ain't there.
Okay. Are there other weapons?
In the house, yes.
Okay, what are those other weapons?
30-06. Oh, that are gone or just
No,
in the house?
what are they?
Okay. 30-06, 280, M1, 30-30, 22 Magnum, and my 44 pistol was in there. I think that's all that was in the house.
Okay, are all these yours?
Well, not all mine.
Okay. Are you a marksman?
No.
Okay. Do you shoot a lot?
Yes.
Okay. How often would you shoot per week?
Oh, there's some times that I don't shoot at all in a week, and there's other times that I have shot up to 500 rounds in a week.
Are you a fairly good shot?
Yes,
Okay. Do you like to hunt?
definitely.
Okay. What do you hunt?
Deer, elk, coyotes, bear,
fascination with weapons for a long period of time since your youth?
I don't call it fascination, I just...
Attraction.
Attraction.
Okay. When did it start? Do you remember?
Long time ago. Back when my dad first bought me my first BB gun.
Okay. So, how old were you then?
6 or 7.
Okay. And you've always maintained an interest in it then?
Yes.
Along with an attraction to weapons, have you been interested in reading about like crimes of violence or watching things portrayed on TV or talking to other people about it?
Not really, about the only violence I like to watch is war movies.
War movies? Okay.
And I used to watch a lot of what Linda calls horror movies, like, Friday the 13th and stuff like that.
Just what I was going to ask you. Okay. Did you watch Friday the 13th?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay. Okay. What other ones did you watch?
Like Jason, that one that's Jason. I've watched Jaws.
Are they your favorite kind of movies?
Not really. I've been more towards westerns.
Okay.
Be westerns, then war movies.
Okay. So anyway, you come back and you find her missing, and you find the BB pellet gun gone.
Yeah.
Okay. And then where do you find the BB pellet gun?
When we got back, I went down and picked Linda up, and I got back up there. It was about 6:30, somewhere in there. I can't remember the time exactly. Might have been right close to 6. First thing I noticed when we pulled in out of the carport was my BB gun was leaning against the camper. And I thought it was kind of strange because, kids will never be neat. The BB gun might have been leaning against the camper, but the box of pellets shouldn't have been sitting on the barrel. Just perfect.
Okay. Well, what do you think happened? I mean, you're starting to speculate. You know she's gone, the BB gun was gone.
Well, I thought she was just out there, because she likes to go out with the BB gun and target practice.
Okay.
And she does have her own BB gun, but she's always been complaining that her BB gun is not very powerful. It might shoot 30 feet, and then it'll drop off. Where mine will shoot, say, 100, maybe 150 feet before it starts dropping off. So she likes to rip off my BB gun and take it out as much as she can. So I figured she was just out target practice and waiting for me to get back home. And then when I called for her and she didn't answer, I figured maybe she just went and got my BB gun and went down to the neighbors, because the 2 boys down there's got a BB gun, and they like to go out and target practice. In fact, they like to go out and they'll like to try to sneak up on chipmunks and birds.
Okay, so you thought maybe she was target practicing with a BB gun, and then you found the BB gun.
No, this is quite later that I found the BB gun.
Okay. At what time did you find the BB gun?
Like it was about 6 o'clock when me and Linda come home.
You found it then?
Yeah.
Okay. So you found the BB gun at that point, and before then, between like 1 to 6, you thought maybe she'd been out target practicing, right?
Well, I figured she was out target practicing right around 12, And I went and drove down past the boys' place, slow looking, and didn't see them out there playing. So I figured they might, with it being hot that day, I figured, we got a shop down there, and there's a Coke machine, cold water drinking fountain, and then upstairs we got a pool table. So I figured they might have just went down there and got a pop or some water or up playing pool. So I drove on down there and asked Dick, Krog, and Jimmy if they'd seen the kids. And they said they hadn't seen them. And right about that time, we got a call over the radio that one of the asphalt trucks home, load of asphalt, was broke down on the other side of Tombstone. And Dick kind of went to tizzy because he was worried about losing that tonnage of asphalt. So he was heading over that way, and I just told him, I said, since I'm a mechanic, I'll go over, I'll follow him over my pickup and see if I can do anything to get it running. And we got over there, and I checked it over and listened to what the driver had to say, and I advised Dick, I said, we need to pull this in without even trying to start it and get it to the patch. That give it time to cool down. He said, and I told him, I said, you might be able to start it for a short period of time. Don't run it as long, very long. You'd be able to raise the bed and dump the load, save the load. And we left there sometime after 3 o'clock heading back in. And Dick pulled over at Tombstone campground, Tombstone Prairie. And motioned for me to pull in behind him. Said Jimmy was coming with the auto car, so we used to pull the trucks with. And he didn't know if he had the right hose. And we waited there about 5 or 10 minutes, and then Jimmy pulled in. And I looked at the hose, and it was the wrong hose. So I told Dick that I'd run into the shop, and he had to stop at Sweet Home gang and try to get a ride back to Sweet Home for this driver who was driving his truck. And I went on into my shop area, looked for the right hose. I couldn't find it, so I got 2 of the shop air hoses, put them together, and looked for fittings to run between the 2 trucks so we could hook the 2 trucks up. So the pull truck would have air from the puller for brakes. Couldn't find all the fittings I needed, so I went over to the other shop, and I was over there about 5 minutes, and Dick pulled in. He said, "Where's Ackroyd?" And I peeked around the corner, and here I am. This is this assistant, Bill Tucker, had come in, and he looked in his truck and found the right hose, and he already headed over there. And I told Dick, I said, okay, I'm going to be, probably be late picking Linda up, so I'm going to hurry up and fly on over there and pick Linda up. I got my pickup, pulled out of the yard, figuring I'd have to stop for the construction around Hog Rock, which I didn't have to. But I just got up there just in time to catch the flow of traffic going through. I got up on top and I remembered, Channy. I said, well, I ain't going to go back and spend time looking for Channy. She just missed coming with me to pick her mother up. So I went out and picked Linda up, went in and deposited her check, and then we went, in Sisters. And we went from Sisters up to the junction, got there right around 6 o'clock. That's when I noticed the BB gun was leaning against the camper.
Okay.
And
so then you notice that the BB gun is against the camper at that point. You notice that Channy's now around. Okay, she hasn't come back. When do you start putting 2 plus 2 together that maybe something is amiss here?
well, that was about 9 o'clock.
That's 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to get in your thinking so I understand exactly what was going on. So something happened between 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock that made a difference.
Well, we thought she was just had come home, brought the BB gun home, and then went back down and was playing with Dave's boys. And Linda fixed a little bit of dinner. Channing still
Wait a
wouldn't say.
second. Now, would that be unusual for her to leave that BB gun propped up outside against the camper?
No. She has done it before, and she's gotten in trouble about leaving the BB guns outside. Both the kids have.
Okay, if she's gotten in trouble before, did you spank her, or reprimand her, or send her to a room, or suspend privileges, or what you do?
Verbally, reprimanded,
Okay. Did she take punishment like that harshly?
If she thought
Was that real hard on her?
No, if she thought it was justified, she took it. And then if she thought I was unjust, she would talk to her mother about the whole thing.
Okay, but you'd already reprimanded her about leaving the BB gun out. Do you think that she would have done that again?
She's done it many times.
Okay, so even though you've reprimanded her, it doesn't do any good?
No.
Okay. Did that get you angry when she would do that?
Sometimes it's not angry, it's just disappointed. Because
You're more a person that likes things neat and orderly, and
not really, it's just that we have so many people coming from the highway in and had so many things turned up missing. I told them, I said, if your BB guns are outside and they disappear, I'm not going to buy you another one until you learn how to take care of things. And my dad even told me that when I was a kid, because I always liked to use his tools and I'd leave them out in the grass. All kids are kind of absent-minded.
okay. Well, so 6 o'clock, you notice the BB gun there. And that's important to you. Okay.
No, it's just, I told Linda, I said, well, Channing's home now.
That's what I meant.
And
You're making an assumption based on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's go back to 6 o'clock, and there's a difference between 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock.
Right.
Okay. What's that difference in your mind? What's happened?
I didn't think anything happened. It wasn't really unusual. I figured, like I said, I figured Channing was down there, had come home, brought the BB gun home, and then went back down and was playing with Grace's boys. Because it is boring up there. There's no other girls up there for her to play with. And Breeze's boys is younger. They like to play Nintendo. They go out in the woods, shoot BB guns, play hide and go seek. They got a little fort they've built. There's 3 boys up there that they can play with. Robbie, he's older than Channing, and he's got a ATV four-wheeler, and he's let her drive before. And, so I figured she's either with him or with Dave's kids.
Okay, so she's done this before. We checked with your wife. She's been gone from 1 o'clock on up till 9 o'clock at night, and no one thinks anything about it.
Well, usually she'll come home, and if we're home, she'll tell us that she's going here to play, And if we're not home, she'll usually leave a note.
Did she leave a note?
I didn't even look. I thought Linda had looked for the note to see where Channing was.
But you're a cautious, careful person. She's missing. Wouldn't you naturally look for the note then if she always leaves a note?
Well, Linda beat me into the house that day.
What did you ask Linda?
No. And, Linda wasn't even worried about Channing. And, what was it? Probably 7:30, 8 o'clock. I went outside, and I heard Dave's dog barking. And, it was 2 different types of bark. If somebody's around that he don't know, he barks different. And if the kids are out there playing around, he'll be kind of yapping. And I heard the dang dog yapping like crazy down there. So I figured the kids are right down around the house, Dave's house, playing, and the dog wanted off his chain so he go play with the kids. And I went in and told Linda, I said, well, Chaddy's still down at Dave's, it sounds like. I hear the dog yapping. And about 9 o'clock, Linda said, God dang, Chaddy had better get home, because she knows she's supposed to be home by dark in the house. And it was, like I said, it was about 9 o'clock, and we decided we were going to go down there and inform her that she was going to be in trouble. We went down and seen that Dave's pickup was gone, so they were gone. So we stopped at Sherry. She was right next door to Dave, and wanted to know if she knowed anything about where Dave took the kids, or if he went somewhere with the kids. And Sherry said she hadn't seen him, and she didn't know when Dave had left. So we went down to Strauss's to see if he knew anything. And about that time, when I was talking to Robbie Strauss, we seen Dave pull back in the yard and head for his trailer. So we just turned around and went back up there. And that's when we found that Dave's kids has not been up there for a while, that they're down seeing relatives in California. And then we really got worried. And Sherry come up to visit with Linda, and I took Sherry's stepson, Robbie, and we got their spotlight and went out looking, thinking maybe she might be out right along the airport where she likes to play. Maybe she got on a tree and fell and got hurt, so she couldn't come back.
Did that ever happen before?
No, but there's a lot of trees that's blown down, and Linda thought maybe she'd been climbing a tree and then fell down and fell off and got, hit her head or hurt her leg or something. So we went out looking, and Shani knows the sound of my truck, and we were just first gear idling down along the airport, went down to the stockpile site, around the road on the back side of the airport, and back into the airport, back up around, and we got back to the house about 12:30. So, we were really worried. And I've asked the newspapers to print about, everybody's under the assumption. We had a guy up there that his daughter ran away. His wife called him, and he called the police, and they told him we won't even fill out the paperwork for 24 hours. My sister has got a boy that ran away, and she was told the same thing. So we were under the assumption you had to wait 24 hours, and we waited 23 hours, and then we called the county police here. And then we learned that you don't have no time limit on kids. One outfit will say 24 hours, and the other outfit says there's no waiting. Call as soon as possible.
As a concerned parent, what do you think would be the best?
As soon as possible.
Okay.
But, we were on the
And why would that be?
to get things going faster.
Okay, but you didn't do it. You waited for 23 hours.
Yeah, anxiously.
Okay.
Like I said, we waited, and we were going to lie and say that we waited the 24 hours. It was 23 hours, and to hurry things up.
Okay, so anyway, between 6 and 9, what's happened is that you finally got over to check to see if Channy's there playing at Dave's place. Okay, you find out that they're not even home. Later you find out that the kids are in fact in California.
Right.
Is that right?
Right.
Okay, and then you begin your own search,
Right.
thinking that she might have been hurt.
Right.
And Linda, your wife, also thinks she might have been hurt.
Right.
Okay, so you start driving around, and you do that from about 9 till 12:30?
From about 9:30 to 12:30.
Okay, from 9:30 to 12:30 that night, you search.
Right.
Okay, then exactly what hour do you contact the police here? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember the exact hour.
Okay. Well, you said it was 23 hours.
Yeah.
Well, it's odd you wouldn't remember the exact hour. You told me it was 23 hours.
Yeah, it was 20.
Well, then what time was it you contacted the police?
Sometime the next day.
But, okay, it's 23 hours from the time you noticed that she was gone.
It'd probably been about 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock in the morning.
Night. You know, and the next
You
morning,
contacted the police?
yeah, it was 8 o'clock the next night. So, somewhere around there. Linda could give you a better time.
So you contacted the police about 8 p.m. the following day?
Somewhere around there.
Okay.
You know, I'm not very good on time, remember times or...
Well, but just a moment now, let me back up here. You noticed she was first missing when you came back home between 12:30 and 1.
Yeah.
Okay. And if it would have been 23 hours, you would have contacted the police then approximately about 11:30 to 12.
It might have been that time, you know, like I said, I'm
So
not...
you actually waited longer than 23 hours.
I don't know, it might have been earlier that...
From the time she was first noticed that she was missing, you said was 12:30 to 1 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay. You did not contact the police until 8 p.m. the following day.
Well, like I said, I don't know exact time that we contacted. Linda's the one that called.
Okay. I'm just trying to get these facts established here. Okay, so there's a little bit of discrepancy there. Maybe it wasn't 23 hours.
Yeah.
Maybe it was longer than that.
Or shorter.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, not sure. If in fact you first noticed that she was gone when you went back home at 12:30 to 1, no one's ever seen her since that time.
Right. Now, you know, like I said, I don't know exact time that we called. Linda's the one that called.
Well, I'm just curious because you've told me a story here. The reason why you didn't contact police before this, okay, was the fact you thought that there was a 24-hour limit.
Right.
Okay, right?
Right.
That's what you said. But I'm just going back through this, and it doesn't quite make sense. Do you see my problem with that, John?
Right, I see, but like I told
It's
you...
illogical.
Like I told you, though, Linda is the one that called, and I'm not very good on time. And, you know, to get a straight answer on the time, Linda would know exactly what time she called. Linda's very good on remembering times and things.
Are you the head of the household?
Sort of. She tries to be.
What was it that brought about the fact that you didn't call? I mean, you're kind of the head of the household, and you run things there, and you're the father figure.
Well,
I mean, you're the one that was suspicious there could be something wrong here.
I don't like to use the telephone because I am hard of hearing. So she does, you know, when they're calling on the telephone, Linda will do a lot of the calling. In fact, she kind of has been out of shape. She says, I need to get a hearing aid so I can hear.
Okay, so you're telling me now that in a case here where there's grave suspicion of foul play regarding your own stepdaughter, that you didn't pick up the telephone because you're hard of hearing?
Well, I had Linda there, and she does most of the talking on the telephone.
Okay, so Linda did this at your request?
Yes.
Okay, but certainly well beyond the 24-hour limit. Would have been closer to 30 hours or more.
No, because...
From the time that you first noticed that she was missing, which was 12:30 to 1 p.m.
Well,
if it's not till 8 p.m., then you go ahead and you add the hours, you add about 7 more hours onto it then. So it's 24 plus about 7, right?
yeah, but...
Okay, so you would agree it's about 30 to 31 hours.
Well, if it's that way, yes. But if it's,
Okay, but that's the way it is.
What I think is that, I know it was daylight when she called, and we sat down there in the office.
Okay, we can look all that up, and that's what we'll do. I'm just kind of curious,
Yeah.
because you told me a little story here, about 23 hours, and I'm looking carefully at this, trying to get the details out, and it's not quite making sense. Do you see what I mean? Okay, and you would agree with me?
Yeah, well,
If you're in my position,
yeah.
you would agree with me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a discrepancy here.
Yeah,
Okay, and you would agree with that?
yeah.
Okay. Let's go on with this then. Then, the next day, there's a call made to the police, and that's when you say approximately at 8 p.m. at night.
Around there, possibly.
Well, give or take an hour.
I'm thinking it was earlier.
Okay, well, we can look it up.
Look it up.
We can check.
Get on the
Now,
police report.
between the time that you go to bed, which was about, 12:30 or 1?
A lot longer than that.
What time did you go to bed?
Continue another sided tape. The time now is 10:03 a.m.
Her disappearance was on which day?
That was Tuesday the 10th.
Tuesday, okay. So that Tuesday night then, I want to know in detail what's happened then. How late do you stay up that night?
I don't know if we went to bed that night.
Do you remember if you had sex with your wife that night? Or?
We had sex somewhere about 7:30
In the morning?
Tuesday night.
Or Tuesday night?
Yeah.
Okay. So you had sex about 7 to 7:30?
Somewhere around there.
Okay. So what's happened is that you're a little bit alerted that your stepdaughter's gone, and you find the BB gun at approximately 6 p.m. propped up against the camper, and then you go and you have sex with your wife about 7 to 7:30.
Right. Somewhere around there.
All this stuff is starting to build up. That didn't bother your sexual performance at all?
Well, we didn't think Channy was missing. We thought she was just out playing. In fact, during our sexual encounter, we heard a noise outside, and then we kind of paused because I thought Channy had come home. Mm-hmm. And I figured she'd be there beating on the door to talk to her mother. Mm-hmm. And Linda said, something about, what are you stopping for? Channy ain't gonna come in here, you know that. I said, yeah, but,
Okay. Then she doesn't usually come in the bedroom?
No,
if you're in there?
not unless she knocks
Okay.
and gets permission to come in.
So what did you do?
Well, we didn't hear anything in the house. We figured she was just staying outside playing with kittens. So we continued on.
Okay. And was that gratifying for you?
The sexual act?
Well, you thought you heard something that bothered you a little bit, but the sexual act itself, was that very gratifying to you?
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, how gratifying would it be on a 10-point scale, where 10 would be some of the best sex you ever had, and 1 would be, virtually unsatisfying?
Oh, I'd say about a 5 or 6.
So the sex you had then on a 10-point scale in terms of pleasure and gratification for you was a 5 or a 6?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm kind of...
I'm going back over other statements. See, John, I've got a lot of material. I got tapes to go through, and I've got this on you and everything there, trying to understand all these facts. Okay, so I want you to be crystal clear in what you're telling me, so I get this stuff cleared up. Now, in terms of the sex, it was described differently Okay, when you talked about it.
Yeah.
Now you tell me it's a 5 or 6.
Well, see, I'm kind of weird.
Well, let me just ask you, before did you describe to officers that the sex, in fact, was like the greatest sex you had?
It was good, you know, but, it was, you know, it was like usual, you know, there was nothing better about it, there was nothing worse about it.
You're telling me this 5 or 6 is just the usual kind of sex you might have with your wife?
Yeah, it's just, you know, normal sex. I don't care too much about, you know, it's no biggie if I get sex and no, you know, I'm not all that interested in it, you know. My wife is, she likes, you know, really enjoys it, but with me, it's, you know, I could have it or I could leave it.
Okay. Was this enjoyable for her?
Yes.
And then, okay. John, I'm picking up a discrepancy here again from what you've told others. You had described that sex that you had with your wife as being about the best sex that you've had, right?
Well, it's just, you know,
So now I'm down to the point that it's just usual sex.
it's just usually, there was nothing extraordinary about it, you know. And like I told you know, the detectives here, I told them about I could take it or leave it, but it's no, you know, sex is no big thing with me.
Okay. Let me ask you another question then in this area. At any time ever, now think of this carefully, okay, have you gone ahead and been charged with any sex crime, ever a suspect in any sexual crime?
Yes.
Okay. What was that?
I was charged with a rape of this one girl. I don't even remember her name. That was quite a few years ago. It wasn't even brought up to court. All charges was dismissed.
What brought that about?
The girl in question was very heavy on drugs, and
What was her name?
I don't know. Like I told you, you know,
Okay.
I don't even.
What county was this in? So if I go and look up the record,
It'd be Lynn County, I think.
it'd be Lynn County. What year was it?
I don't remember. It was before I started working for the state, and that was almost 13 years ago.
So it'd be about 13 years ago?
Would probably be closer to 13 or 14 years ago.
Okay. Now, all I want to know is just what she said that you did.
I guess she'd say that I, you know, tried to forcefully attack her.
Okay. So, John, I'm going to look up the records, and what I want to do is I want to get an accurate sense of what had happened there, what she's saying. Okay. Your memory regarding that. So what specifically were you supposed to have done?
You know, you're asking somebody to remember back over 13 years ago, and a lot of times I can't even remember what happened last week.
Well, but the thing is, you do have a good knowledge, good memory of detail, just what you're giving me so far.
Yeah.
You've got a good memory, and this would be a very significant event in your life. And for very significant events, what happens is people remember in detail regarding those events. Imagine it was somewhat traumatic to be charged for this rape.
Yes.
It certainly would stand out as an important feature in your life, right?
Right.
Okay. So if you think about it for just a moment, you'll remember the details surrounding the case.
Right.
Just take your time and
But,
just
you know,
think about it.
All I remember about it is this girl needed a ride home. She was over at Sister's Rodeo, and she was worried about her baby. She did know a friend of mine, David Harris, and she wanted to come back to Lebanon just to check on her baby. At the time, I was the only one over there with a vehicle that David knew, so he said, we'll take you back over to Lebanon. And she went over and got 3 quarts of beer that was opened. so we'd have beer on the way back. And then David says, wait a minute, I can't go. And had to turn around and take him back. And she pleaded with me, go ahead and take her home so she can check on her baby. I said, okay. We got somewhere down below the mountain house by this, what used to be called the Steel Bridge. And she started making advances on me. And during that time, drinking on that quart of beer, I just started feeling real funny. And there was something said that there was some type of drug in the beer. I took her to, she wanted to pull over, and, she kept sexually advancing towards me, so, I pulled over. We tried to do it. I couldn't get up, and she got all bent out of shape.
So you couldn't get it up?
No, couldn't get it up. Because I was affected by the beer and whatever drug was in that. She tried her darndest to get it up.
What'd she do?
Played with it and sucked on it. And then she got all, like I said, she got all bent out of shape. And then I drove her out into Lebanon, went back to my mom's house, catch some sleep before going back over to sister's. And then deputy stopped in and told me that she had went down and brought charges of rape against me, which was a shock, And they said they're investigating it. And I talked with the deputy a couple times, and he said, don't worry about it. He said, this probably will not come to court because she is a known drug user. And he said there was drug in all the 2 bottles that they found in the pickup or something. And, like I said, it never did come to court. All charges was dropped.
Okay. But why was it that she brought the charges against you? You're telling me, so far, from what you've described, is she got angry because you couldn't get an erection.
Yeah, and then her husband...
Is that what you're saying to me?
That's what I understand.
So she brought the charges because you were a failure at your sexual performance with her.
I guess.
Is there any other reason?
Not that I know of. Like I said, that's over 13 years ago.
Doesn't make any difference at time. What's important is just what had happened, the way you had a recounting for it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're telling me that she brought the charges because you couldn't get an erection.
I mean, so, and her husband was all ticked off because she did come home with somebody he didn't know.
Okay, plus angry husband, so you're trying to suggest now that she was covering her tracks
It could
for
be.
something that happened sexual between you and her by saying that you forced her. Is that right?
It could be. Who knows what goes on in women's minds. I definitely can't figure them out.
Can't figure women out?
No. I like to meet the man that can figure out what women think and how they think.
Okay. But does that anger you that you can't figure it out?
No. It's just odd that no man has been able to figure out how a woman thinks. They think so much different than men.
Well, it might be somewhat difference to their logic, but some men certainly have figured it out, have some sense about how they think.
Yeah, but
Novelists have written about women, been pretty effective at trying to depict women. So, anyway, you're saying about yourself then that there's a confusion about women, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And there was this rape charge back about 13 and a half, 14 years ago.
Right.
Okay. Now, think clearly on this, John. In terms of any other kind of sexual deviancies in your past, have you ever exposed yourself even once to a woman? Exposed your penis?
What do you mean by exposed?
Someone
when you go to bed with them,
No,
you do.
not that. Is someone that you really don't know, a stranger,
No.
you're in the woods or whatever?
I'm not no pervert.
Okay. And is there any time where you're ever a voyeur, where you begin to look in windows and try to,
No,
even during your teens?
not that I remember.
Okay. Is there a time that you ever had any sexual interest in younger women, even teenagers?
No,
I mean, since you've been an adult.
no,
Did you ever have a sexual interest at all in Channing?
no.
Okay. Now, did you ever notice any differences as she's beginning to grow up? Like, for example, did you ever notice that she seemed to be filling out more like a woman?
Well, that was brought to my attention. It shocked me.
Mm-hmm.
Linda was sitting on the couch one day, and she says, "John, what do you notice about Channing?" And I looked at her and this hairstyle. And she said, "Take a closer look."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "I don't know." And she says, "We're going to have to go down and get her a training bra. She's poking out." Come on, And Linda had Channing stand sideways and says, she says, "Look, close." And I looked and says, "Okay, so we go down and get her training bras." That's, like her real dad had seen her 2 years ago, and he made the comment that it was quite a shock to him to see her this time because she went from flat and a toothpick to a 32B.
She went to a 32B?
Yeah, that's what Linda says. And, Steve, I guess Steve got the information off of her bra. I guess there's a little tag on to tell you the size.
Okay. In terms of fantasies, when you think back on, have you ever had fantasies about going ahead and picking up some woman or teen, taking them to a secluded area?
Sexual fantasies? No.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean about rape or bondage.
No.
You never had rape or bondage fantasies?
No.
Okay. So you're saying that there was never any, that you noticed any sexual interest whatsoever in Channing?
No.
Okay. Now, getting back to what had happened that night, Tuesday night, you're saying now that with the sex you had, it was more normal.
It was
for you.
Yeah, it was, like it's always been between me and Linda.
Okay. So it was nothing out of the ordinary.
No.
Okay. Do you remember why it was you told officers that it was so great before?
Well, hey, with Linda it is great because
but you said it was great.
It's just normal between me and Linda. We, there's nothing abnormal about our sex relationship. We don't have, there's no time that, it's better or worse, because, and Linda's always saying I'm weird about my sexual appetite because she wants it 2-3 times a week and I can go maybe once or twice a month or even one, and she wants it more than, I try to go along with her. She maybe have the urge and we'll get together and, it's no big deal for me.
Okay, so there's not a lot of sexual interest that you have
No.
in your life.
Well, there's sexual interest. It's just that it's a very low. I have a very low sexual interest.
Okay.
She even talked about me going to the doctor and trying to get something to boost my sexual interest.
Okay. Have you tried to boost it yourself by using pornography?
I do get Playboy and that. Detectives asked if I have child pictures and that, you know. And like I told them, I says, that would be somebody that's sick in the head. Because, a little girl has nothing. They're not developed. I personally think anybody that likes that type of stuff is extremely sick in the head.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you get Playboy and what else?
There's been times that I bought Playboy, Penthouse, what is it, Cavalier?
Okay.
I don't even know the names.
Have you ever gone to adult bookstores?
No, I just buy them out like these little grocery stores that might have them on stand.
Okay, so you never even once been to an adult bookstore?
No.
Okay. Have you ever used any kind of sexual toys?
No.
Inflatable dolls, penis extenders, dildos, vibrators?
No.
Okay, so you deny sexual toys. In terms of your own sexual performance, has there been problems besides the erectile failure you told me during this alleged rape 13 and a half years ago? Have there been other times where you've had erectile failure?
Yes, quite a bit. There have been times when Linda has really had to work to get me to get up.
Okay, and usually is it erectile failure
Yes.
with an orgasmic failure? Do you ever have orgasmic failure problems? Not able to reach orgasm?
There's been times where me and Linda has had sex that I have no orgasm. It's no big deal for me. But mainly it's just getting it up.
Okay, it's mainly erectile failure. Okay, in terms of the erectile failure, how often does this happen?
I'd say about every second time she tries to get it from me.
Okay, about 50% of the time?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the times, in terms of your frequency of sex, she would desire 2 or 3 times a week, and you would like maybe once a month or so.
Yeah.
How do you compromise? What is the average? Would it be once a month?
Well, she does, like if she is really wanting it, she'll work real hard and get me up, and she usually gets it once every 2 weeks. Sometimes it'll be once a week.
Okay, so that might be once every 2 weeks or so.
Yeah.
Okay, and are those 50% of the time you're not able to get erect? Is that?
Well, unless she really works hard to get it up.
Okay. Well, what does she do to try to get it erect then?
Play with it and, those things.
And, well, other things, what do you mean?
Fondle it, kind of, a couple times she's had to even go as far as going down on it. She don't like doing that, but when she really wants it, she will do it.
Okay. So she'll do that just once in a while to try to get you so you can perform then. And then when you are able to perform, it's just
there.
Yeah, it's not particularly pleasurable, you say. Okay. Are there, in terms of the sexual desires that you have at times, do you ever get aroused to any of the movies you watch?
No.
Nothing in the movies? So you've never been aroused to a violent scene you've seen in the movie?
No.
Okay. Well, what does arouse you sexually?
Not very much.
Okay. Well, so we have this sexual encounter at 7:30. How long does that go?
$15, 20 minutes.
Okay. Sex will be 15 to 20 minutes. And with her, it's pleasurable enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any time where you've ever felt sexually inadequate, penis inferiority because of the size of your penis?
Not really, because I don't have a small penis. I don't have an overly large penis. It's normal.
Okay.
The only trouble is, my sexual activity has caused problems between me and Linda. She has asked a couple times, why did you even marry me, She wishes I'd changed. Like I said, she even talked about me going to a doctor to get something to really arouse my sexual activity.
Okay. Have you done it?
No.
Okay. So let's say it's 7 to 7:30, sometime right in there when you have sex. And then 7:30 on, what happens?
We went back out and was watching TV, and like I said, after that I went outside to see if Channing was around, and I heard the dogs barking, so I figured she had come home and then went back down there. Come home and play with the kittens, because she loves playing with our little kittens.
Okay. So then the search is made, and where do you go when you search?
Well, like I told you, on the airport. Down to we got a little stockpile thing, and around that, and back up on the road that goes on the back side of the airport. And then back to the airport, and then back home.
Okay. At what point that you can remember where you put 2 plus 2 together that made you suspicious that there could be foul play involved?
Well, we began to wonder, when we were searching, and Linda got to wondering about it too. And we talked about it that night when I got back, because we have had a lot of trouble with people coming in from the road. Both of us is pretty positive she did not run away on her own.
Okay. Well, was anything missing?
No.
Okay. So her purse, money, clothes,
all there.
Cosmetics, there's nothing missing, right?
Nothing that we've been able to turn up. Linda's gone through a room. When Byron got back up, she had Byron go through a room. And the only thing we can find missing is the clothes she's wearing.
And then you're the last person that saw her that we know of. It was 12:30 to 1.
Well, that was, last time I seen her was somewhere between, say, at 9:45 that morning.
Oh, okay, 9:45. So at 12:30 to 1 when you came back, you didn't see her at all? Okay.
See, when I got back from work, she was laying on the couch watching TV, and she had all the kittens in there, and they were on her belly.
Okay. And that's when you asked her about the deer?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's when she said that she wanted to finish watching her TV program, and then her mother had gave her some chores to do that day, so she said she'll finish watching the program, get dressed, do the chores.
What program was that?
I don't know.
Were you in the room?
Yeah.
Okay, which room was that?
Our living room.
Okay, so it's in a living room, and she was watching TV, but you didn't notice what show it was?
No, like I told you, texted, I don't know if it was kind of like a cartoons or an animated thing.
Well, but is that just a guess?
Yeah.
So you didn't...
I didn't pay attention to the TV.
Okay. So you didn't know the program might be over in a half an hour or 15 minutes or... Okay. So she didn't say, well, I just want to watch this program and then I can go with you later?
Yeah. Well, she said she wanted to finish that program, get dressed, do her chores. And I told her I'd be back around somewhere between 12 and 1 o'clock.
Okay.
And then she asked if we can go out and try to find some baby fawns to shoot. And shoot, I mean take pictures. That has raised some eyebrows.
Okay, so she asked about taking the photos of the baby fawns.
Right.
Okay.
Because, she's a lover of all babies. Doesn't matter if it's human or animal. She got extreme attraction for them.
Okay. So anyway, you last see her there about 9:45, and then you begin to put 2 plus 2 together, and there's a lot of factors that go into it. The BB gun, she doesn't arrive back home again. She's not over at Dave's place. Okay. And then you don't call the police until, or your wife doesn't until about 8 o'clock the next night. What really is it that sets you off, though? And is there any other thing that you might have noticed? Little drops of blood, a sign of a struggle?
No, her room is all messed up, but that's Channy.
Okay.
I mean, like every once in a while we have to get on her about cleaning her room up because it looks like World War III went off in there. And, like the door, we've been after the kids ever since we've been broke into and robbed. That door does not close right. State carpenters don't want to really do anything about it. In fact, all they did was put a piece of plexiglass in there instead of the right stuff. You go and shut the door. If you don't grab hold of the knob and pull, it won't latch. And kids will just swing the door shut and not look behind them.
Tape is continuing at 10:35 a.m.
And, until later that night, neither me or Linda was even began to get worried about her because, there has been many times that they don't come home till dark, buying our Channy. And, like I said, when it started getting dark, starting to get dusk, we went out looking for her because we were going to nail her. She was going to get in trouble. Because she was not home when she was supposed to be.
Okay. How frequently does she get in trouble?
Well, not very often. Every once in a while you got to remind a kid that they do have things to do or the time they're supposed to be home. Usually both Byron and Channy is very good on being home when they're supposed to be.
I mean, how frequently would Channy end up getting punished?
We really don't punish them all that much.
Have you ever spanked her?
Yes.
Okay, with what?
I made a paddle, and at Linda's request, I started disciplining the kids. She had to get on to me a couple times when, about her always having to discipline the kids and me not. So she said, you spank harder.
Okay. So how frequent would that be?
Both Byron and Channy is very good kids, and maybe once every 3 months per kid. Usually, you could just talk to them and it'd sink through their head.
When's the most recent time that you spanked her?
somewhere close to a year.
Okay. In terms of other forms of discipline, then you would verbally reprimand her?
Yes.
Like you said? And then also, would you discipline her by grounding her and not letting her do certain things?
She has been grounded.
Okay, and then doing chores, would that be a form of discipline at times?
Discipline is not doing chore work. They got their chores they're supposed to do.
Okay. So discipline would be spanking,
No,
reprimand,
well, it's
grounding?
grounding mainly. Because as kids get older, you can't spank them all the time. But if you take privileges away, it seems to get them more sink into the head better. And it's easier on me.
Okay. Now, was there ever any time where you really lost your temper with her?
Not with her, with Byron, yes.
Now, did you ever slug Byron or kick him?
No, I spanked the daylights out of him. He got pissed off at his mother and he tried to swing at her, and then he went stomping down to his bedroom and punched his fist against the door and put a hole in the door. And Linda come out and got me and told me what happened, and she said, you get that damn paddle and you go in there and beat the shit out of his ass. And I do not believe. One time I hit a girl, and my dad, that was my little sister, when we were kids, and my dad turned around and hit me as hard as I hit her in the same spot, and impressed deeply in my mind, you don't hit on girls. And it ticked me off that Byron tried to hit his mother. And then, it made me mad too that he punched the door and put a hole in it. So he got 5 swats with the paddle. And Byron remembers that very well, because he has never tried to swing on his mother or closed his fist to his mother again.
Are you a person that loses your temper at home?
No.
Okay. So you're pretty calm and cool most of the time?
I'd say 98% of the time.
Okay. So let's go on with this then. When is it that you put 2 + 2 together?
Well, we started worrying about Channing maybe, being hurt. And then there was thoughts of possibly foul play.
Who thought of that first?
Linda.
Okay.
She's always been worried about people coming in from the road. Like in the years we've lived in that trailer since they put him in, I think it's 3 years, maybe 4 years. I think 3 years, more accurate. We've probably had, I'd say close to somewhere between 200 and 300 people come in from the highway, wanting beer, gas, water, food, ride to town, directions, you name it, they want it. We've had fuel stolen out of our vehicles. We had things missing.
Now that's over what period of time?
Over approximately a 3-year period.
About a 3-year period of time.
We even had a guy come up, send his tent up behind our house, our little shed there, run an extension cord in and plug in to our electricity during hunting season.
Okay, so you're saying about 1 out of every 3 days, according to your figures, that someone would come.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1 out of 3 days. Go ahead.
Sometimes, there would be two to 4 people per day. I remember one couple, they come in and they offered, they're very polite, offered to buy, they were hungry, and they offered to buy some food and something to drink.
Okay, but anyway, we've got these people coming in from the highway, and you're thinking, and your wife is thinking of possible foul play. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. In terms of your thinking about the foul play, What is it? I mean, you're imagining something might have happened. What is that?
Well, we imagined everything. You know, I try not to think of that.
But what is your best guess?
We're thinking that somebody might have stopped for some reason, seen the house, come walking in, and seen an opportunity and grabbed it, which means grab Channing. Now, me and Linda's been talking.
Okay, now if someone grabbed her, for what purpose would it be?
Channing was a very pretty young girl. And there is sexual perverts out there. I know it, you know it, and everybody knows it. And they could have seen the opportunity to grab a pretty girl. And, you know, they might have come up and asked if parents was home, if they needed help. Channing does not lie. She would even answer the door if somebody knocked on the door without even thinking. You know, she'd just open the door and talk to them. They could have asked if, you know, any of the parents at home or anybody home, you know, else was home, and she would have told them no. You could see that the next door neighbor was gone because both their pickups, you know, he works for the state and he drives his pickup down, and then his wife usually goes somewhere. In fact, that day when I stopped in there about 9:30, between 9:30 and 10 o'clock, 10, say quarter till 10, as I was getting ready to leave, I seen her pull her pickup out and take off. And, you know, both Linda and I was under the assumption that somebody just happened to come in, maybe needed help, and decided there is a perfect opportunity, take it.
Okay. So then what would they do?
There's a number of things that we've been wondering about.
Well, what's most probable?
Well, most probable is he'd take her out somewhere and rape her.
Okay, so you're thinking that someone abducted her and raped her?
Yeah.
Okay, so then what?
Well, we're just praying that he hasn't killed her. But as time goes on, Linda's been thinking, you know, detectives come up there and they keep surmising that somebody's taken her out and raped and killed her. We're trying not to believe that, but as time goes on, we can't help but think about that. And we hope she's out there alive.
What, do you think that's probable then?
We're hoping.
Okay, people might hope, but I ask you the question, do you think that that's probable, that she's out wandering around someplace?
Well, she has enough sense that, like, if somebody did come in and get her and took her up where we're thinking, if she had a chance to get away, there's a lot of berries out there and there's a lot of water. You know, if she is alive out there, she'd be very weak by now. And, you know, Linda's worried about me. She was even pissed off because I come down here. Detectives asked me to come down here because they think maybe we can get a new lead or something, some way to go.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and she wants me up there, you know, because Steve's coming up there with people, and we're going to go up in this area and search it, hoping to find her still alive. We had a dowser pinpoint an area, and he says he's definite she's there.
The dowser does.
Yeah. I don't really believe in dowsers, but he had a little brochure where he worked with the police before and said he's found people alive, people's dead. And, you know, that's one thing we're grabbing at that as a hope. And, you know, we're grabbing at the hope that she has run away.
Well, no, be rational on this. terms of running away, do you know of anyone that would run away without money, purse, clothes,
No.
cosmetics?
No.
Okay, so you're really not believing that, are you?
Not very deeply.
Well,
But, you can't stop us from hoping. And like I told Linda, I says, if she did get abducted and taken out there and sexually abused, I said, the love between the two of us for her, and I said, money is no object. We'll take her down and get a psychiatrist and help her out. And, it's, sometimes you can help heal a case like that.
okay, but let's go back, and you're having a hypothesis now that something's happened and she could have been abducted and raped, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How would this happen? I mean, how would the person get her out of there without being spotted? Where would that person go?
How did they come in and steal $10,000 worth of my stuff and get out with nobody seeing them? This is during when there was snow up there. They had to drive up the driveway and drive out the driveway.
Okay, but that's a different issue.
Yes, that's a different issue.
I'm asking in this particular case, for you to get help from you in finding her, how would you go about accounting for this? I mean, how could a person do it? You know this area better than anyone else.
Yes. Well, there's people up there that know a lot better than I do, but...
Well, do you know the area well?
Fair.
Okay.
I know some of the main roads. It'd be easy for me to get not lost, but turned around if I went on a different road that I know up there. But by looking at the surrounding area, I could figure out where I am and figure out where to go to get out of there. I wouldn't be least worried about getting lost because there's too many landmarks and.
Okay, so something happened in that approximate 3-hour period of time between 9:45 when you last saw her on up till 12:30 to 1. Okay. What is that? What happened?
We've been trying to figure that out. And, we've been talking between Steve, the real father, me, and Linda, the detectives, different deputies, and...
Well, I realize that you're helping. That's what I'm asking you about right now.
Yeah, I know, but I know what you're asking me. I'm telling you. And what we've figured out is they could have, like I said, stopped and seen the house and come right from the road. It's approximately 30, 40 yards, maybe 50 at the max, depends on where you come through.
Yeah.
The house is very visible from the road. And I don't think anybody come up there planning to pick Channy up. I think it's a spur of the moment idea.
Okay, so whoever might have done it probably was spur of the moment, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we are out in the middle of nowhere. Now, we all think it's odd that she was only home for 72 hours when this happened. Because she'd been down visiting her real dad, and then she went to the coast for a while with his side of the family relatives. And we went down that Saturday prior to this and picked her up. And then we got up there, I don't know what time it was, but Linda figures it's only 72 hours and she was home.
Had Channy ever had any problems herself sexually? Ever been sexually abused? Or
Yes.
she had been?
Yes.
By whom?
Her. I don't know if it was penetration. She had been...
How old was her?
She was 8, so he was probably about 18.
And how long had it gone on?
I don't know. I just learned about it just this past week.
From who?
From Steve. Him and Linda was talking about it.
Did you ever question Jenny about it
She was gone.
before you found out about it?
No. See, when I found out about it, it was during the time we've been looking for her.
That's what I said, that she
Yeah.
was gone at that time. So you never had a chance to ask her anything about it?
No. I do personally know that he does have a weird sex drive, and he has...
That's the... Yeah.
And he has got his other... There's one that I don't think he has touched, but he has... He's got 5... And he's played around with all but one of them that I know of.
Mm-hmm.
He has had other young girls. The one mother was very irate with him one time and says if he ever comes around her daughter again, she was going to see that he was arrested and put away.
Mm-hmm.
So I do know he does things like that.
Okay. Well, does that add to the equation any? You're thinking about this, would that add to this equation?
Well, we were thinking there is a far possibility. Now, Steve says that he had told Channy that he was going to come up and tell Linda about Channy and go and beat the shit out of
Mm-hmm.
And the night before she disappeared, she was a little upset about her mother wanting to go to bed so early. And Linda thinks she wanted to talk about something.
Mm-hmm.
But she went to bed. She was so tired, she just went to bed. Channy come out. I was cleaning the carport thing there. And she come out and sat on the porch for about 3 hours watching me clean. And there was a couple times that I stopped and asked her if she wanted to talk about anything. I said, I'm here to talk if you need to talk about anything.
Mm-hmm.
And she said no, kind of reluctantly. So that's why I kept asking her if there was anything she wanted to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But she never did talk. She just said that she was out there watching me work. I wish I would have really pressed the issue and found out.
Okay, let's get back to your hypothesis about what you think that might have happened then out there. So someone, you say, might have come in from the road, and so what are they going to do? They go up there under false pretext, get in the house, you say?
Well, they could have come up there under straight pretense and seen that, found out she was alone.
Okay.
And as you can see by the picture, she is a pretty girl.
Mm-hmm.
And
Do you find her pretty yourself?
she's like her mother.
Okay.
She
So
is
you
pretty.
find her attractive?
She is, pretty.
Mm-hmm.
I don't find her sexually attractive. That.
I asked you if you found her pretty.
She is pretty.
Okay.
But there's been a lot of people, the neighbor boy, he's all tore up about this because he really liked Channy. That's why he's been going all over the place on his four-wheeler.
Okay, but let me get back to something's happened, and so if a person did this, how would they get her out of there without getting spotted?
They could walk right out. They could have walked right out. They could have drove out.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't she put up a struggle?
Depends on how he got her out.
How could a person get her out?
Say he had a knife and he threatened her if she made any noise.
Mm-hmm.
Channy is a type that could be intimidated to be quiet.
So you could use a knife,
A gun, or, he could have come up and we've been thinking about this. Now, when the deputy come up and showed him where the BB gun was, he dusted it. And the only thing he found, the only print, was a smudge. And that's probably where I picked the BB gun up from. because I grabbed it right in that area. There was no prints on that BB gun.
Okay, now you're talking about the BB gun that was leaning
Right.
against the camper?
Right. Now,
And you're saying now that there were no prints except maybe a smudge from you?
Yeah, and that is odd, because Channy had that BB gun. There had to have been prints on that BB gun, but he dusted it, and there was no prints. And the way that BB gun was set, Channy would never set that BB gun that way. It was too neat.
Okay, so you're saying that someone wiped down the BB gun?
Yeah, he might have, used the BB gun to hit her over the head and knock her out. And then wiped the BB gun and set it there.
Was there anything about the BB gun that might make you think that?
The way it was set. Because we've been talking quite heavy about that. And I agree with Linda. When Channy had the BB gun, there's been times I got after it. She'll lay it on the porch. Or, I got those 2 sawhorses and that little piece of plywood. She has laid it up on there. She is not the type, and I haven't seen no kid that would set a BB gun up and set a box of pellets right on top of the barrel, very neatly.
Okay.
That might be a thing to do, is having that one guy do that spray thing, see if there's any trace of blood on there.
Okay, so maybe the BB gun could have been used somewhere. And then what would the person do? Would she be tied up or not tied up or what? How do you control it?
Well, if you knock somebody out, you wouldn't really have to tie them up. Now, Channy's 87 pounds. She'd be very easy to get out of there just by carrying her. There is a road comes in the upper airport, and like a fool, I've made a very good passageway from the airport to my place. They could have just drove in or taken her out back behind the airport and then walked out to the car and come and got the car and picked her up in the car right there on the airport. They could have walked her right out to the road.
Wouldn't they be seen then?
No. If Channy was walked through the brush and got in the car, who would think anything of it? That day there was a lot of vehicles parked, stopped right there. It's a bad thing. They use from the airport road down past the phone booth down to my place. That is a toilet. Everybody stops there, walks out in the bushes, and uses it as a toilet. So, somebody going by wouldn't even think of seeing somebody coming out of the woods. And even if somebody's parked up a little above the road, if Channy wasn't struggling and got in the car, I wouldn't even think anything of it. Unless I seen it was Channy, then I'd be hot down on their tail. Because I'd figure, hey, somebody's messing with my stepdaughter, But some other kid, somebody you didn't know, if you seen him come in and get a car, a man or a couple men, or women, anybody with a kid coming out of the woods right there, you wouldn't think anything of it.
Okay. Then you think that's what could have happened?
It's a possibility.
Would the person, what would they do with Channy then, once they got her out of the vehicle?
Well, we got a good idea because one of the surveyors seen this vehicle pull out of the cinder pit, which is right close to our place. Pulled out at a high rate of speed, heading towards Salem. He tried to catch up with them, and He said they seen him trying to catch up with him to get the guy's license number, and they just took off balls to the wall. Now, we've been up around Scar Mountain, and Fire Watch has seen a vehicle parked in the bottom of this one canyon that was there for 3 days and then disappeared again. You know, there's a good possibility that is where Channy is.
Okay. We've got good ideas on this while you're talking. How long do you think it would take before, with your search party, you could find something?
Well, we're going to set up balloons today and go down and look some and be combing as much area as we can with as many people as we can. We hope to have about 30 people up there Sunday. It's going to be rough because it's a steep canyon. And there is some gates locked, and we're going to try to get them open. And if we can't get them open, we're going to open them. And, you know, we might have to pay money or pay a fine or whatever, go to court, but we're going to go in that area. And, you know, nobody's going to stop us.
You're going to continue until you find her?
We are continuing. I'm off work until we find Channy.
Okay. You're off work?
As long as possible until it takes to find her. Linda's off work.
And she's going to stay off work?
Steve's off work.
And they made that commitment too?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what do you think, with all the knowledge you have, if she's out there, think you'll find her?
It's going to be hard, but we're going to keep trying. Even if we do find her dead, that's, you know, that would, at least that we would know.
Okay.
And like I told the detectives, and Steve's told the detectives, if we find somebody with her, they're not getting them until we're done. And then they can bury them.
Okay.
You know, I'm putting that out front, you know, because we ain't going to find somebody. Don't get me wrong, I don't fault the police. I fault the courts and the prisons. You go in, say she's still alive, sexually abused. The guy get 3 to 5, maybe 5 to 10. If he gets 5 to 10, he's out in 2 years. Gets 3 to 5, he's 6 months to a year. That's doing us no good for the anxiety and pain. That's not doing her no good. We're going to kill the son of a bitch, and slow. We're going to fix it so whoever has done this has no chance to ever do it again.
Does that hurt your feelings when you think about her being out there, maybe?
Yes.
When you think about it, you think about the possibility of her being raped and murdered. Does that affect you a lot, then?
Yes.
Okay.
I have lost weight, lost a lot of sleep, and it's gotten me think. I'm scared how I'm thinking.
How are you thinking?
I don't, you know, I've never had no feelings of harming people. I have had people beat on my face, and I have turned around and walked away. I have never intentionally wanted to hurt anybody, but I want to do damage. I want to kill now.
Continue another side of the table time at 11:05.
You were saying that you want to kill now, and that scares you.
Yes.
Okay. And is that because of your thoughts, what you're thinking about happening to Channy?
I'm thinking that because somebody would take a small girl out there and put her through hell, possibly kill her. She is mine. I have come to believe she is mine. Byron's mine. I know I'm not the real father, but I have grown to love both those kids as if they're mine.
Okay. so you're going to make the commitment, you're going to continue to search till you find her?
Yes, as long as the state will let me off.
And do you think that person would have buried her out there?
There has been times people take people out, kill them, bury them. There's other times where they've taken them out and just throw them on the ground after they got through and just leave them. We have, our group and all the people from Search and Rescue and the deputies, they have searched many miles, many hard miles. And in the area we've searched, we have come up with nothing. They've got reports of sightings coming in. They're checking all those out. It all takes time. We have come up with a sighting of a likable coincidence, of this car coming out of the center pit right close to home the same day, about the right time. Being sighted up in the woods where if he was to go to a lake, there's 3 lakes up there. One of them's Parish Lake where a lot of people hike in to go fishing. He was way past that. He'd have approximately 3 miles walking up a very steep canyon to get to the lake. And like the fire watch man said, there's the trailhead is marked very well to Parish Lake. It's a 400-yard walk to Parish Lake from the trailhead. Why would somebody drive way around, park in the bottom of a canyon on an old skid road landing, and walk 3 miles uphill to the lake, where you could park by the trailhead, walk 400 yards downhill to a lake? He thinks it's odd. And we think there's a connection, a possible connection there. Same color vehicle, sighted 2 different places.
In terms of burying her, do you think that the person would have used anything to wrap her up with?
I don't know. They were talking about, we even had some search dogs up there, and detectives had me go get a plastic bag in case possibility she was buried in plastic, trying to hide the smell. That could be a possibility. But you'd think they'd have to have the, whatever, if they did wrap her, they'd have to have it on hand. And if it was spur of the moment, who would think of anybody having any, really anything there to think of this,
So she could be wrapped, you think?
It's a possibility she's wrapped.
What would?
How would I know?
Well, you're just speculating.
Yeah.
What would you guess?
Well, the detectives was thinking plastic. It'd be kind of foolish to wrap her in a blanket, because that's not going to stop no smell. They, like I said, they could have buried her.
Okay.
But digging up anywhere up there is going to be hard because it's awful rocky, no matter where you go up there in the hills. Doesn't matter if it's around the junction or up here, by Parish Lake, it's rock.
Now, with this, are you going to do anything possible to help with this investigation? To find her?
What do you think I've been doing?
Okay. I mean, that's what I want to know, if you're really committed to it.
Yes.
Okay, you want to find her no matter what?
Yes.
Okay. Her mom wants to find her?
Yes.
Okay. Her natural father wants to find her?
Yes.
Okay. Have you done everything possible so far?
Yes, they did want me to sit down with a map and a polygraph, and I told them, wait a minute, because there was another case where I seen this girl, and then all of a sudden she turns up missing. It was a Kate Turner. And I was under an investigation of that. And proved unattached to that. But, it cost me, I had to go to a lawyer to stay out of jail because I happened to me and my dog, we happened to find her the next summer. We were out rabbit hunting. And I took a polygraph on that, and the police said there was some discrepancies on the polygraph. I didn't do nothing with my stepdaughter, and I volunteered for the polygraph down here, and they say there's some discrepancies on that. And I got to wondering, say we go over a map and there's, I got nothing to hide, but all of a sudden there's a worried feeling over here. Say she happens to be found over there. What's that going to look like? It's going to be pointing the finger right at me.
Well, it's going to indicate you have certain ideas or impressions about where she could be found. You know that place better than anybody else. You know that area very well. And right now, things are at logger's heads where progress is not being made. You say you want to find her. You want to do everything possible. You want to commit yourself to it. Linda does. Everybody else does. You've got that guy out there. What's it called? Richard?
Dowser.
Or Dowser. Okay. You've got the Dowser out there. This is just another technique to try to use to help locate or pinpoint certain areas. That's all it is. And now you're saying that in some way you're balking at doing that?
Yes. At the advice,
I
even talked to my mother, and she says that this is turned in just like that Kate Turner. And she even told me to get a lawyer and have a lawyer present at all these questionings. And she says, you've helped, you've answered all their questions, and, I volunteered to come down for this. I didn't, I didn't even bring a lawyer, and it's known fact, you guys advised me of my rights and said I could have a lawyer or a court lawyer. But I keep looking at the fact that I could, go over the map where I went. I even took the deputy on.
John, just hold it just a second. You didn't do anything, don't worry about it. It's a test to try to help out with this investigation. It's a test to try to help out, find out where that little girl is.
Right.
You want to find out where she is? You want to do everything possible?
Right.
Okay. Then what's stopping you?
That. Because I'm not going to go to jail for something I didn't do.
You know as well as I do, the way the courts work right now in terms of the kind of evidence they have to have in these kind of particular cases, it is extraordinarily high level evidence that has to be had in these cases. You know that.
Right.
The chances of sending an innocent man to prison are very remote.
Right.
I've worked in this business for a long, long period of time and worked in penitentiaries.
Right.
And you simply don't find that.
Right.
So, what is your worry? People want to go through this with a fine-tooth comb and let the evidence point where it may. And this is just a procedure that's used.
Right.
A procedure that's used to try to help in these kind of investigations.
Yeah.
You're not being singled out.
But the thing is, I know I'm not being singled out. I'm the last one to see my daughter that we can find out.
Right.
But I was worried about, and I even talked to these guys about that. And the polygraph, I didn't have nothing to do with it. All of a sudden the polygraph says, bleep, bleep, there's some discrepancies here.
Don't worry about that. This is working on the peak attention test. All it's doing is trying to read you and certain impressions you might have.
Right.
Okay.
But what I'm going back to is when I got that lawyer for that Kate Turner, he said I should not have even volunteered for the polygraph. He said that was stupid. Because police will take that, and if you have discrepancies, he says that those police are just going to hone in right in on you, and they're going to pester the shit out of you. And they did. And it took a lawyer to get them off my back. And that put me through hell. I'm going through hell right now. I don't need no extra help. I come down here, volunteered for this. I
Okay.
volunteered for this here. Now, you be quiet, let me talk.
Okay, go ahead.
We have spent many nights, sleepless nights. I've lost weight. I've got to the point I want to kill somebody. I don't need this shit. I want my daughter found.
Okay.
And I'm being down here. I got my ass chewed because I'm down here today by Linda. And she was very upset that I still come down here when I should be up there looking. She's very pissed. And, I just flat told her, I said, I'm trying to help find her.
Okay, and I'm suggesting one other way to help.
I'll tell you right now, I've been advised by my mother not to do that map thing. She says, if they find her, great. I've taken the police over my route. They have found nothing, no shoe, no article of clothing, nothing. But what she says, help them, but do not get on no polygraph. She said I was stupid of coming down here getting on the polygraph. My mother was a police maker. She worked with them. She has nothing against law officers, but she says the polygraph, they go, you get discrepancies on polygraph, they're going to go and just keep hounding you. These guys are not hounding me. I appreciate what all you're doing. But I am going through hell. And like I said, we had a screaming fight about me coming down here. But these guys said, they're at a dead end, we're at a dead end, and all of a sudden we got a lead here. She says, what the fuck you going down there talking to them? Get your ass out there and look. I'm torn between helping you guys and being up there looking for my daughter. He says, come down, you're supposed to be kind of like a mediator. They give you ideas, what they've done. I'm supposed to give you ideas what I'm doing, where we looked and all that. And all you're doing here is just asking a bunch of questions, the same things they asked me. Shit, my mind went blank.
You're going to make a point, John.
I need to be out there looking. Not sitting here telling the same story over and over again. That's what I'm getting at.
Okay. Well, why would you think that we want you to go through a story again?
Don't ask me.
There could be little details that are missed.
Little details that's missed. In fact, I've told my story to these two guys. We put it on tape, talked about it before, and then come back down, put it on tape, if I remember right. In fact, today we come up possibility of this guy using the BB gun on her, thumping her upside the head.
I picked up details sitting here that you've told us that I never picked up before. Just by having another perspective of it, we're sitting and listening more, and somebody else is doing the interview. And I have picked up several things, details of things that you said that may be helpful. That I didn't hear before, so I think it's helpful.
This is working.
Yeah, what I'm getting at, though, I feel so useless here. I should, I'm going to get shit when I get back up there. I don't need no shit between me and Linda. She is wound so tight now that she's like a fiddle string and she's ready to bust. I'm wound tight because,
Well, you can understand why she would be. That's her daughter we're talking
yes,
about.
I know she's going to be tighter than I am because she is actual blood.
Right. But let's exclude everyone else except Linda for just a moment. Consideration of this peak attention test. With your mom, naturally, she's going to be protective of you, and that's the way mothers are, okay? Nothing's ever going to change that. But in terms of Linda, what would Linda want you to do? Now think of this.
I'll tell you
Okay.
what Linda's thinks.
If we ask her,
She thinks I'm wasting my time down here.
okay,
I mean, she blew up.
there could be, at an unconscious level, you're not even aware of, certain impressions, something you might have missed in telling us that would come up on this peak attention test, you see.
Well,
it's at a level you might not even be aware of. All we're asking you to do is go through it.
I know,
okay?
I know.
And that's all you do.
I am taking advice. I want my daughter found, but I'm taking advice of my mother, and she has talked to a lawyer, and he says no.
Okay, so...
I guess she's talked to a couple lawyers.
No, but I'm asking you, John, to be a big boy here for just a second. Listen to me, okay? Irrespective of what your mother says, okay, what do you think on it? Now just exclude what she's thinking of.
I'll tell you what I think about it.
Yeah.
Now, there's discrepancies in the one polygraph about me knowing what happened to Channing.
Okay, but forget about that part.
Now, wait a minute. And like I brought up to them that night, if I go over my route that I went, or over a totally, map, and there's some area there that worries me, say there's a discrepancy in that area. And it just so happens whoever took Channing took her to that area. I guarantee you that's going to be one finger pointing right at me. And like I said, I don't need no bullshit. I want these guys out there finding Channing. I'm out there looking all over the place. We have covered many miles. We've got walked. My goddamn feet hurt. I've been so exhausted at night, I want to go to sleep, but I just lay there and I think of Channing out there somewhere. And I have been advised not to do that on the simple fact that if there is anything, say there is a discrepancy, worried area, and she is found in that area,
all that indicates is that you have some impression about it.
Yeah, I know.
See, it's working at a level you're not even aware of. So I don't know where that logic really would stand up. It would be coming from certain impressions that you have, you see. I mean, you know whether you did it or not.
I know.
I mean,
but what I'm saying is, she has found an area that I have worry about. And I don't know if you're a police officer or not, but these guys are. And going through that Kate Turner thing has got me scared to death of polygraphs. I know they're not submissible in court.
Yeah, it isn't something.
But the thing is, I had nothing to do with her, and I had to get a lawyer and fight to stay out of jail for something I didn't do. And I'll tell you right now, I ain't going to do that again. I was worried about Channing, and I want to show these guys I had nothing to do with Channing's disappearance, and all of a sudden, that is telling me stay away from those damn things. Because...
Wait, now just a second.
Now, wait a minute.
All they're doing, John, is just following police procedure.
Yes.
That's what they're doing.
Okay. But...
And if you were in their position, you would do the same thing.
Yes, I agree with that.
I mean, if we go point by point by point, what these officers have done, it'd be exactly what you would do if you're an officer.
Right. I agree with that. I've told you, I agree with you.
Okay.
And I appreciate all these guys helping, what they're doing. But what I keep coming back to, I had nothing to do with Channing's disappearance. All of a sudden, this polygraph says, there's a flaw here. Just like on that Kate Turner incident, I had nothing to do with it. There's a flaw here. It cost me money to stay out of jail. Now, these guys keep coming up. They've dusted my pickup for blood. They found some blood, from the searchers who got hurt, They have put us through extreme difficulties.
Well, that's standard procedure.
I know. I'm saying that.
In any case.
I know.
Okay.
And I told them I had no grudges against them. In fact, if they didn't suspect me, I'd tell you one thing, I'd be down here talking to their boss.
Yeah, because we're all taxpayers.
But the thing is, I don't need the hassle. I'm out there looking for Channing.
Okay. All I was asking, John, was if you really fully 110% want to help across the boards.
Yes,
And I knew
but
of
I
one
will-
procedure to
yes,
use,
yes.
and you're balking right now.
You're damn
And
right.
that's the bottom line right now, is you're balking.
That's right. I've been told not to take that test.
No, I ask you, excluding Mom and everybody else, I don't want you hiding behind them. I want you to make the decision yourself.
I am.
John, listen, I want you to make that decision yourself. Nobody else, just you.
I am, and I say no.
Okay. Okay, so
That's
you
like
don't...
I told them that night. I
Okay.
said no, because I am worried, you know,
Or are you worried that you might be implicated in some way?
yes.
Is that what you were saying?
I was implicated in Kate Turner. I had nothing to do with her. Channing means a lot to me. I want her found. But I am not going to be implicated by a polygraph. And I've already been implicated.
Okay. With
And I-
Kate Turner, was she the jogger?
Yes.
Okay. How were you implicated in that?
I was one of the last people seen her. I went driving in, seen I was out of gas, come back out, almost ran over a dog that ran in front of me. Of course, I stopped
Yeah.
and asked about the dog, and she bent down, picked the dog up, and said, "You didn't hit him, you know." And I says, "Well, okay, you know, Merry Christmas," and she wished me a Merry Christmas. I drove out to Highway 20. There was one of the guys from the junction, an Indian, driving in, and there was a Volkswagen driving in. There's two other people seen her. The Indian disappeared. He didn't even get his last paycheck from the state.
Okay.
And later we found out that he couldn't find out all the details, but he went back east and he was involved in a murder back there.
Indian was.
Yes.
Do you remember his name?
No.
Okay. Well,
I mean, he just worked there for 2 or 3 months and then he was gone.
how'd you find out about the murder back east?
Well, that was always a subject that kept coming up, you know, about this Kate Turner. And somebody seen a broadcast or something in the paper. I don't know. You know, I don't even get newspapers up there. The only thing I get is newspapers and Nugget. And, you know, I was just told that this guy had been involved in a murder back east. And
By an officer?
I don't know if it was a police officer or not. We had a lot of them come up there and just bullshit, passing time.
Someone just told you don't know for sure who it was then.
But
So it could have been a rumor.
well, be a pretty good rumor, I'd suspect.
Okay, so anyway, you heard this. You were one of the last people to see her.
Yeah.
Okay, then did you also find her body? I thought you told me that.
Unfortunately,
Okay. When did you find her body?
that next summer.
What month?
I don't know.
Okay. Had you seen her before that?
No.
Now, if you think back, had you told any officer, anyone, that you had seen the body before then, but was afraid to report it?
No. In fact, the day that we did find her, my dog found her, the skeleton. I went from there,
What did you see when you found her?
the skull.
You saw the skull?
Yes.
For sure you, okay.
Yes,
During the
for
summer.
sure.
Okay, you're telling me you saw the skull. What else?
There's some other bones laying around behind this log. But the main thing that sticks in my mind is the skull just laying there.
Okay, and then did you report that?
Yes.
Okay, how did you know who it was?
I didn't know who it was.
So you just reported that you
Yes,
found the skull and
I went
bones?
from there down to the Camp Strimmon store. Now, it's funny because I remember it was so crowded and everybody was talking at once. And I kept trying to ask the clerk behind the counter, I need to use the phone. And I asked her about 4 or 5 times. I said, hey, I found a human skull up there. I need to get the cops down here. And the store went quiet. Counties come. I took them back up, showed them where it was. They roped the area off. And later I found out it was Kate Turner.
Okay, so you reported immediately?
Yes.
Okay, now, are you sure when you think back that there was no time where you saw her, like in February?
No.
You never told anybody that?
Last time I seen her was when she was live down way towards the highway, jogging with a dog. Next time I happened to find her was in the summer, when I was out hunting with my dog.
Okay, so you never told anyone, suggested, intimated that maybe you saw her before this?
No.
Okay. In this particular case, you obviously see, I mean, if you're looking at it intelligently, that you could see why people would want to investigate you.
Yes.
Okay, now take a look at this for just a moment. You were probably one of the last people that saw her, right?
Right.
She was jogging.
Right.
Okay. And then what happens is she ends up disappearing, and then she ends up being found later, months and months later,
Yes.
by
me.
you, who was the last person to see her. Okay. Well, if you're looking at it from an investigative point of view, you can see where people would focus some attention on you,
Well,
right?
see, really didn't have too much trouble with the police prior to me, after me finding her. I
Yeah.
had the trouble prior to me finding her
Okay.
because of the polygraph.
Okay. But say they focus the attention, all they're doing is their job following through.
Right.
Now, did anything happen? Did you end up getting arrested, incarcerated?
No.
Convicted?
They just kept coming up and asking me questions.
But that,
and,
listen, John,
No, I mean...
that's just part of being a
Yeah,
citizen
I know,
in this
I know.
country. They have every right to do that.
Yes.
And they're just trying to go ahead and solve the case, right?
Right, I
And as
know.
a citizen, you want them to do that, don't you?
Yes, but
Okay,
they,
now what was so wrong with what happened with Kate Turner?
what do you mean so wrong?
I mean, okay, so you were inconvenienced somewhat. The police were trying to do their job,
Yes.
right? Okay,
But-
they're trying to do the same thing right now. Nothing really came of the Kate Turner case, did it?
But I'll tell you something about that. They told my friend's mother to see me pull in by his place, that she best change her time that I got there, or she was going to jail with me.
Okay, well, so, I mean, things happen, the world's not perfect,
I know
etc.,
it's
right?
not perfect.
Okay, it never will be. If you look at this case, I'm asking you, what happened was that they followed what I would consider a very prudent path, very rational path, okay?
Because
But
the polygraph.
okay, but so what about the polygraph? I mean, I'd have to look at the results and go through it and see that all the polygraph is an investigative tool to help, that's all.
Right.
It's just to help, right?
Right.
And
But-
remember, it's not a lie detector test, it's just a truth-confirming test. All it's trying to do is assess whether you really believe this to be the case, that's all.
Okay, well, let's get off this shit about polygraph and continue.
Okay.
Because I was supposed to be back up there, but I ain't going to get back up there.
What time are you supposed to be up?
12.
What, noon? Okay.
Because that's when everybody's going to go out and try to set the balloons and stuff.
Okay.
12, 1 o'clock.
Okay, so, anyway, I was just trying to go back to this Kate Turner case then, in terms of the upshot of that the police are following a very logical
Yes.
path, right? And that's all they're trying to do here.
Yes.
Okay, so we certainly appreciate you helping out in whatever way that you are, and want to have you continue your efforts. You know that area very well. You seem to have some good insight in this whole case, you see, and you could be a great help up there. With that, why don't we go ahead and terminate for right now, and then I can talk to you guys a little bit.
Okay, this will conclude this taped interview at 11:35 a.m. on 7/21/90.